I know I've said this already in the past, but bragging rights are always the best kind of rights. And considering what happened on last night's episode of The Masked Singer, I have bragging rights now. I'll get into that momentarily. What's important today is that we're almost at the weekend, so happy Thursday, everybody. Yep, we're Thursday. And, the week is almost up. And it is starting to get very cold. Like, I went out for my morning workout, and it was 9 degrees. 9! Like, look outside, 9 degrees. I'm like, oh no. And understand this, I wore like 3 layers of clothing. I'm actually kind of surprised I actually broke a sweat at all throughout the entirety of the workout. I mean, one of the things I wear is a one of those windbreaker outfits that are they're supposed to be waterproof and stuff like that, and for the most part they really do work, but they keep a lot of heat trapped in, and that's the only reason why I can get like sweat stains on my clothes. I know, I can be gross sometimes. But yeah, I think today might actually be the earliest I was legitimately able to get up and go, because last night I went to bed legitimately at 10 o'clock and I actually got up before 5. I mean, I was procrastinating a little bit, but I still got to get up, excuse me, when I wanted to. But you don't want to get into that. You want to get into what I thought about last night's episode of The Masked Singer, which is what I'm definitely going to get into right now. So don't worry, I'll let you know when spoilers begin. So apparently, when a competition like this gets down to 10, they'll basically have 5 performances instead of 6. You just see the celebrities in the costume on stage or on screen a little bit longer than you did when you previously had 6 performances. But yeah, there's that. So, and I was actually kind of hoping that maybe since you're down to 10, maybe you would sort of randomize what celebrities in costume would go on stage, but they didn't. Basically, if you performed in the first week, then you performed this week, and so next week, if you performed a week ago, you would perform then. Somehow, I think I probably screwed up the order, but yeah, that's essentially how it works. So I think about now at 3:30, I will get into spoilers. Okay, so in the first in last night's performances were basically the same costumes that performed 2 weeks ago, only minus the hippo that was Antonio Brown. So it was the peacock, the monster, the unicorn, the lion, and the deer. And, just like before, they do a good job sort of disguising, making the clues, clear enough where you have a slight idea as to who it is, but you also have but they're also vague enough where, you don't quite know. Except for, unless you're really keen on, what they're saying. And believe it or not, last night, the vast majority of the judges actually got it right. And I was almost right. I'll explain. So, of the 5 contestants who ended up getting eliminated, and I should actually also say this, all the performances last night were pretty good. There really wasn't a bad performance at all. Although, if I did have to pick one that I did feel was the best, I would have to say the monster. Monster killed it. And the line was pretty good too. Again, they were all good performances, but I think at this point, the audience and the judges are going to decide who goes home based on who technically had the weakest performance. And in this case, it was the deer. And, I'm watching this last night, and, between the performance 2 weeks ago and last night's performance, I kind of had a vague idea from, the clues and, how well, I mentioned this 2 weeks ago, but the deer is obviously a guy. You could tell just by, no offense, but it's kind of like the legs. I mean, if they have skinny legs, chances are it's likely going to be a woman. Skinny in comparison to a guy, that is. And I'm probably saying TMI right now. Anyway, so we get to, after the deer's performance, what clued me in on who it could be was the deer had a very distinct laugh at the, because after he sang and as the judges tried to guess who it was, etc., they say one thing before the celebrity in costume says one thing before they cut to commercial. And then they had a laugh like, ha, 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 kind of like that. And it's definitely a laugh I had heard before. And some of the clues were, they mentioned horses. They mentioned, son of a gun, what were the clues again? Well, yeah, the horses was definitely one. The way this guy was singing was kind of a clue, because you could tell that even though they disguised his voice, they can't really disguise accents, and this guy had basically like a southern drawl, if you will, like maybe from like Tennessee or Louisiana or somewhere in that particular area of the country. And so when it came down to who ended up getting eliminated, it was in fact the deer. So the monster, the unicorn, the lion, and the peacock all got to go. Although actually, before I do, I gotta say, the peacock's performance is great. Like, he started on top of like a pole that was like 30 feet tall, which like lowered as like his performance was going on. And the peacock mentioned that he was afraid of heights. I'm like, that's pretty cool. That he's like sort of doing that, sort of conquering his fear, if you will. But that's neither here nor there. It was the deer that ended up getting eliminated. And it came down to, because when it came down to who the judges and pretty much everyone thought it was, you could tell that he wasn't a professional singer. Like, he could sing, obviously, but you could tell, like, it wasn't like a professional, like, booming, great voice that, most people are famous for. But throughout the night, one of the judges, it was the, man, I gotta remember the judges' names. I'm terribly sorry. The judge who was one of the Goo Goo Dolls, she actually guessed the winning one. Wait, was it her? Shoot, what? It was either her or Jenny McCarthy. I am... son of a gun, why do I not... Well, it was one of the girl judges who guessed the right one. And as I'm watching it, I narrowed it down to 3 potential individuals, because you could also tell that this guy was also an athlete at one point in their lifetime. So the thing about horses really clued me in. It was either going to be John Elway, Peyton Manning, or the guy it ended up being, it was Terry Bradshaw of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it actually threw me off a little bit, because one of the clues he said the week before was Ravens beware. So I knew it had to be someone who played in the AFC North. Well, actually, in his day, it was probably the AFC Central. Sometimes I am surprised I know as much about football as I do. But anyway. So it had to be someone who was in that particular division of football. And believe it or not, Terry Bradshaw not only. Well, the thing about horses was Terry Bradshaw actually raises quarter horses, I think is what it is. I don't really know the ramifications of it, but I know. But basically, one of the clues was involved horses, and he races horses in his spare time. So there was that. There was the laugh that gave it away, and he actually has done some music before. I mean, yeah. So overall, it was a good performance by Terry Bradshaw, and I guess I hope to see him sing again. So, way to go, Terry Bradshaw. But I am mad you took 2 Super Bowls away from my beloved Cowboys. That was unacceptable. Yes, I pay exact attention to who won the Super Bowl at what point. So, yes, at 11 minutes the spoilers end. Well, I talked about spoilers for a good while. That's all I have to say on that matter. And again, even though I just gave away who ended up getting eliminated last night, why don't you guys? Because I mean, we live in the day and age of the internet. It's very possible that the performances that were on last night are going to be on like YouTube and stuff. So watch the other performances and see if you can figure out who they are, or what clues are given, or what mannerisms they have, all that stuff. See if you can figure out something that I simply couldn't, or the audience simply couldn't for that matter. Overall, I really am digging this show. I can't wait to see, where it goes next, and honestly, I hope it ends up getting renewed for another season. I really think, Fox really has a hit here. I really do. I mean, I should probably point out the elephant in the room right now before I get further along into talking about this show. Reality TV sort of gets sort of a bum rap for, affecting people's minds and all that stuff that reality TV is infamous for. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't notice that myself, not just within myself, but of other people around me. But at the same time, there are some things about... I mean, it has to do with the show in general. Like the challenge, for instance. I actually really like the challenge. I love the whole... I'm a competitive guy. I like the competition aspect, the athleticism and all that stuff. I actually enjoy that. And shows like Food Network, like Chopped, I like that too. You guys know I dabble in the kitchen a little bit. That's fun. So, I don't really think it has to do with... when it comes to reality TV, I think what I'm trying to get at is, it has to do with whatever the content is. If it's something fun, like, say, The Masked Singer, or, Chopped, something that's, meant to be something that virtually anyone can do, those shows are okay. What probably isn't okay are shows like Teen Mom, or Dance Moms, or I guess Real Housewives. Like, shows that really show how obnoxious just like the most spoiled people can be. And that I don't abide by. It's actually funny, when reality TV started to be a thing, I think I was like 9 or 10 years old, and my mother would constantly say like not to watch that stuff, and later I would find out that she was watching that very stuff anyway. So, yay, hypocrisy! Actually, I shouldn't be yaying hypocrisy. I really can't stand hypocrisy at all. Like, I don't have many pet peeves, but that's one of them. But, yeah, all that's left to do now is get ready to watch today's new Hot Ones PSA, which they should finally tell us what the Season 8 hot sauce lineup is. I just hope it's good, considering what the guest next week is going to be, or who the guest next week is going to be. Yeah, I put a link in the description a week ago, so in case you guys don't know, it's going to be Gordon Ramsay. as the newest guest. This is the season 8 opener of Hot Ones. They finally got Gordon Ramsay. I'm like, they actually did it. I didn't think it would ever... Seriously, I really didn't think that would ever happen. I mean, I hope no one believes, like, Hot Ones is jumping the shark, because there's, like, a lot of celebrities who I would very much like to see on this show. And I think it'd be a missed opportunity if, like, they ended the show after season 8, which they shouldn't. At least I hope not. One thing is for sure, though. Shows are going to come and go, but I know I'm going to be doing videos for a long time. And I'm happy to do it. So, like, favorite, share, and hit that subscribe button. I could really use the support on YouTube. Follow me on the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. And as always, I'm very humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I am very hopeful that we all have a wonderful Thursday. And always remember, if you want to talk or chat, I will always be here to lend an ear. And I'll always have your back. Take care.